Are you ready to
What?
take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknext.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today. Are you ready to take...
Whoa, she's trying to get paid too. Everybody's trying to get paid. Everybody wants all that. Everybody wants that free money. Hello. Yes, we are having some back-end issues, but I think they're solved.
From Adelaide. What time is it in Australia? It's like PM, right? Like 8 p.m.? Let me see.
Gotta be late or early, or it's a whole day. Aren't they a whole day different? Isn't it back to normal?
Yeah, it's like a whole day. Oh, it's 1:40 a.m. What are you doing? Yes, March 20th. It's tomorrow. Oh, hey, if it's tomorrow, what happens with the FOMC meeting?
Yeah, what happened? How'd it go? Nailed it. Brandon.
Yo.
Right.
What up?
We could bring it down to a reasonable level. Okay.
Look at this. This is always what we see. DI site not up. Patrick. Oh wait, where did Patrick go? DI site is working. Anyway, if you're having troubles, just log out and log back in. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
All
right. It is bull smoke, Joseph, but it's that bull smoke still in a vacuum of information. People will take a bunch of bull smoke and they'll love it. And so you can take a sane person and you can explain to them that monetary tools do nothing. You can show them on paper. You can show them with all of the statistical records and history and data you want. And they'll say, okay, got it. Like, okay, so you understand interest rates changes do nothing for the economy. Yes. Okay, cool. And you understand that quantitative easing, which doesn't use real money, doesn't actually ease anything. Matter of fact, it might be a kind of tightening mechanism because it strips mine quality collateral out of the market. Yes. So you understand that? Yes. Okay. So you understand that nothing the Fed says today matters. Like, whoa. What if they lower rates? Oh my God. So there's no fixing stupid. And yeah, at least though you're starting to see the rhetoric change. Like on CNBC and stuff, even they're starting to go, the Fed's behind the ball. But the problem is they're saying they're behind the ball as if they're still in the game. They're not in the game. The Fed's on the sidelines. They've always been on the sidelines forever.
Uh-huh.
What do we got here?
Fed decision March, 100%. Well, okay, 99% no change. So all those people, if somebody comes out and says, well, what do you think if they do with it? What if they cut? You know that they're an idiot.
Yeah. They could cut today. They could cut their fingers by over clipping their old fingernails, but that's about it.
Yes, exactly. So boom, there's that. Oh, let's check out May. May is 77% no change. That's okay. So they don't think they're going to even cut in May.
Now that's a bet that might make sense because between now and May, you have tax season, which is going to punish markets. You have a long time for more, bank trouble. You have long time for consecutive bad CPI, bad employment numbers, bad household surveys, bad jolts. So that I ain't no gambler.
Right. That's a 5 to 1. 5 to 1.
I ain't no gambler. But if I was me a gambler, that's the gamble me would take.
Interesting.
If it was me. But I ain't no gambler.
I thought this would be different because I swear they said they were going to cut in May, but this is interesting. Okay. What about June?
That is what will change today based on the word suit that they use. So remember, the statement actually, they put the statement out and then Jerome reads it. You guys know this, right? Jerome's not reading it because it's already been out. Like they all have the statement and they all start, like Steve Leisman and these guys from CNBC are like, oh, put the word shall instead of the word may. Shall means they will do it versus may, which means they might do it. So they shall. You see how it goes? I would bet you money they stay away from a lot of stuff. So, I mean, he can't talk about employment without either lying or looking like a dumbass. So he has to stay away from that. And he can't talk about retail spending unless they blame everything on the LA fires. They're like, wait, wasn't that like two and a half? LA fires. Like, really?
Yeah. June is a 50-50 flip. So they think Polymarket thinks June is the first 50-50 chance, which is crazy. But
so what people should expect today, though. What people should. This is my buddy Matthew. Brandon, I told you Matthew. So one of our longtime homies. He actually I met him yesterday. So thanks, man. Anyway, okay.
The what? That's
crazy. He was awesome. We were out in the street freezing.
Small world. Freezing.
Okay.
No. What? You were out in the street freezing?
Got down to 64.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna cry about. What? It's 64. We're outside in shorts and a tank top right here, buddy.
Okay. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana likely to see 3 to 5% price swings on the FOMC, in parentheses, non-rate decision, which is what Volmex's data suggests. These figures might be scary for equity or currency traders, but for crypto traders, that's kind of like a normal Wednesday. The FOMC is set to publish its rate review, growth and inflation projections, interest rate forecast. Now, what also is going to be interesting is what he says about GDP, because there's a chance that first quarter is going to be negative GDP. And how does he get around not looking like a fool next quarter? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like you mentioned this last night, Brandon. You said the wording is going to be very important because yes, they're not going to do anything, but also yes, they have to protect their pridefulness, their hubris. They have to word it in a way where they can do a 180, just like they did last year. Remember, this time last year, it was higher for longer. We're never cutting rates. We're never cutting rates again, just like Janet Yellen. There will never be another recession. Bitch, we're in a recession. What? So, yeah. What do you think, Brandon? Do you think the wording gets interesting?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be an See, I think there's not going to be a rate cut. That doesn't matter. Everybody knows that. That's priced in. The wording is all that matters, and it is going to be interesting. It is definitely going to be. I mean, look at these Polymarket bets. They're betting on what words he uses, how many times he uses them. This is awesome. This is like popcorn hour right here. Trump, only a 12% chance he mentions the word Trump, which could be true because he doesn't want to speak that guy's name. Okay, and then you got like crypto. He's going to talk about crypto. Where's that? 1 in 3 chance he talks about Bitcoin or crypto. Okay, cool. But yeah, the way that he uses the words, I think you're right when he's talking about the way shall, may, will, maybe, potential. All those words are trigger
you
words.
almost said chow mein. I wonder what the bet is if how much chow mein will be discussed.
Yes.
So the FOMC,
all of it.
They publish the rate. Now, again, remember, you'll know about 5 minutes to 10 minutes before he talks. They'll already have the verbiage. They'll have already dug through. And this is the one thing that I do like about CNBC. And even though I never liked fat-headed Steve Leisman, I'm starting to like him now because he's one of the people that's starting to push back on the FOMC. Maybe he's just gotten old and cynical and realizes he's not going to get fired, because Steve Leisman used to be a punching bag on CNBC. Everybody used to be like, "Shut up, Steve, you're an idiot." But now he's been doing this for so many years, so many decades. He's like, "Oh, I can tell you about the FOMC." He's like the other side of Jeff Snyder. Jeff Snyder basically shits all over the FOMC and the Fed because he's correct. They're a bunch of idiots. Whereas Steve is like a Fed whisperer. But sometimes he's whispering, a bunch of half-tards. So the Federal Reserve's monetary policy meeting their policy meeting is slated to publish its review later today, along with growth and inflation projections and the interest rate forecast. Now, again, the whole forecast thing is stupid. The dot plot thing is stupid. They're going to say they're going to hold. They're going to say that we're going to be data dependent. The inflation projections, inflation's coming in lower. Obviously, the growth part of it is what I'm going to be listening to see how do they protect themselves from looking like total fools in the next 3 months. So the event's likely to breed a lot of crypto market volatility, obviously, and spurring anywhere from 3 to 5% price swings. Well, some assets are up 5 to 7% right now already, which I think is stupid. I don't know. Why would you be bidding up the crypto market right now, Brandon? Why would you bidding it up on what? Is this people outside the United States that are too effing stupid to understand that nothing's going to happen today? Who's bidding up crypto on a decision that's going to be the same old quiet, we know nothing bullshit of the last.
They're assuming that he's going to have a different tone. That's it.
This is all tonal. This is a tonal.
Yes. This is the inflection in his voice is causing $1 trillion swings now at this point. That's where we've come. That's how far we've come.
Oh, I had an article, I don't know where it went, that was talking about, I don't know if people realize how much leverage has unwound from the crypto space. just recently, over the last 2 months. I know I saw that, the Make It Up committee.
That was funny. Good.
And yeah, Bitcoin Trades is right. We've been in a recession we've been in a slow, painful recession for probably a year and a half. Although the MBR doesn't admit it until you look at backwards facing 2 consecutive quarters of blah, blah, blah. It used to be 2 consecutive quarters of corporate tax rolls going backwards. We've had that for 6, but they just changed the way it's funny how these agencies, they say we're not political, but they definitely play politics because they just change the math they use all the time. Oh, we don't use that anymore. Well, how do you rate these things? We used to use a 1 out of 10 scale, but now we changed it. It's an A through Z. What are you talking about? No, the letters don't correspond with anything. What? How do you guys do anything? So anyway, expect today to be a little bit nutty. But what I was saying about volatility, Brandon, is one of the reasons maybe people are bidding up the market today is because they're looking for any kind of relief, because we've had about 7 weeks of huge deleveraging, which does tend to precede runs in Bitcoin typically, and altcoins subsequent to that. So I think there was at the high, January 17th was the high, if I recall. That was, pre-inauguration. And that was the buildup from November after Trump won the election. There was $33 billion in leverage, $33 billion in kind of open market interest and leverage.
Dang.
That was reduced over the last 7 weeks by about $10 billion.
Wow. Okay. So a third, right?
Yeah, about a third of that is out. I mean, you would like to see more of it go away, but you're not going to, as we've seen just over the last few days, leverage is not going away. Gambler's going to gamble, and that's just it. So I would expect that the volatility ain't going away anytime soon. Brandon, and then I'll just throw this out there too. Do you guys remember, for anybody that doesn't know, we talked about this last week, but that there's not going to be spot products. There's not going to be any kind of spot product for Bitcoin as far as options. That's not an option. So if you were going to convert, I keep almost wondering if there's a time we should convert. And I feel like the time to convert is when the market's going down. In a negative sentiment time, when things are quiet and sideways, is when you start converting. But I figured out a way to convert over. When I'm talking about conversion, I'm talking about converting from Bitcoin over to IBIT so you can sell options against your proxy Bitcoin. So I figured out a way to do that. We'll talk about that behind the wall. You do need a little stockpile of cash, and it's kind of like a pre-arbitrage trade. It's like when you load up an exchange to do arbitrage. So when you're doing arbitrage on an exchange, you want the token that you're arbitraging, and you want stablecoin on both exchanges, both tokens and both stablecoin and stablecoin on both exchanges, so that you can mix and match pairs and you can do proper arbitrage. And in a sense, this is a kind of zero sum arbitrage, or I mean, you'd like it to be positive sum, but it's kind of a neutral game arbitrage where you want to be moving your Bitcoin over into IBIT without losing money on one or the other of those currencies getting washed out, right? You're basically being like a Forex trader, and you don't want to get whacked when you send your euros, and then 3 days later they get your euros and the euro's down 20%. You're like, shit, because you want what you cashed out your Bitcoin for to be equal to the IBIT. And then I wonder too, what are the tax implications of that if you're going from Bitcoin to Bitcoin? I bet there's an argument there. Anyway, so I have a kind of some ideas about that. We'll talk about that behind the wall. The other thing that I was going to talk about is that our Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says, I like this idea that Trump's tariffs will focus on the dirty 15. Do you know who the dirty 15 are, Brandon?
Who?
Is
it countries or is it people?
I looked at the last 15 people that I've met in public, and I thought that was the dirty 15. They're all dirtier after having met me. I don't know. Anyway, he confirmed that Trump's tariffs will hit 15% of U.S. trade partners. So he said the dirty 15. You think it's 13 countries? No. Like 15 countries. It's 15%. This is gonna hit those trade partners on April 2nd. So if you're looking for near-term good news, I don't know that there is it. But on the other side of it, these tariffs are going to force the FOMC's hand, because what's funny is the FOMC is like, tariffs are gonna cause, because dumb economists are like, tariffs cause inflation. Like, well, no, that's not what inflation is, but okay. Do they cause price hikes? Well, they cause a kind of price hikes, but then what happens is people just curtail their spending. So if they stop spending because they're like, stuff's too expensive, I ain't spend it. Like on exotics, this is the first year in the last 5 or 6 that we have not bought any new cars, because exotics are too expensive, and not even because of tariffs and crap. It's because the companies themselves, they just made cars too expensive. So we're like, we're not buying shit. They're like, they try to quote us. Oh, do you want the new Lamborghini Temerario? No, it looks like crap. No. Oh, what about the SE? No. What about this? No. So we're just chilling. Well, at some point, these companies go, we marked these cars to, okay, start slashing them. You got to get them out. And then you start seeing, like my buddy bought a Maybach last weekend. They knocked $100K off the window of a car.
Oh, jeez.
You imagine going in there like, what's the price? $105,000. But for you, $5,000. I'll take it. Baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're starting to see it. The cure for high prices is that those high prices push people away from purchasing. So now, with a little bit of dollar weakness, now the Fed's like, crap, this is going the other way. All that we know about math is wrong. And And all that we know about economics is now wrong. We got nothing. So this is what you're dealing with. A Fed that's tactically and strategically, they're not just wrong. They're at sea with no sail. They're just like, we don't have any idea what's going on. And so that's when they push this, we'll just be focused on the data, because they have nowhere else to go. They can't look into the future because they can't even look into the right now. So all we know right now is April 2nd, 15% of these trade partners are about to get kicked in the nuts, which looks like, if the past few months is relative to what we should see, further weakening in the dollar, further weakening in retail spending, further, kind of defensive behavior, balance sheet insecurity, what do they call? There's another one for balance sheet sensitivity. My balance sheet's sensitive, Brandon. It's a sensitive balance.
So's mine.
Yeah, sensitive as hell. So you have this on April 2nd. You have taxes coming. We are going to get our nuts kicked for 3 weeks. There's no way around it. It doesn't mean everything's going to go down, but things are going to be wobbling and all over the place. I would not expect blue skies and green pastures and kumbaya and all that kind of cool, happy shit for the next 3 weeks. But on the other side of it, then there's a lot of crap behind us. I hope in this next 3 weeks, there's a lot of deleveraging, more people get whacked. Anyway, each country in this group is going to get a custom tariff rate based on how they tax and restrict U.S. exports. Mm-hmm. There's no carve-outs and no exemptions. So no one is like, oh, if you hit us with 18%, bitch, you get 18%. We're going to see how these countries like it when they get their own medicine, which I think is great. I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is bullcrap. Like, no, man, we've been getting bit over the table for decades. They're going to have to take their fucking medicine. We are too. But we can't just always be on the losing end of this stuff. Oh, but you guys are the U.S. We're just little small country here. No, screw you. Everybody's put it on the table. Everybody put it on the table. See what you got. So the U.S. Trade Representative is finalizing details while Trump insists tariffs will proceed despite legal risks and economic concerns. So, yeah, I mean, they all have to negotiate. They got to negotiate quick. And the way they do it is just cut their restrictive U.S. export policies. But the plan will be formally announced on April 2nd. So I would expect April. God, it ain't much to look forward to right now. I don't think markets are going to absorb this real well. It targets a group of countries identified as the Dirty 15, which Scott said make up 15% of U.S. trade volume, but maintain significant tariffs and non-tariff barriers against American exports. So what's going to happen on April 2nd? Each country will receive a number that the U.S. government believes represents their tariffs in place against the U.S. During an interview on Fox with Maria Bartiromo, he said, for some countries, it could be quite low. For some countries, it will be quite high. I don't know why I'm excited about this, but isn't this kind of badass, Brandon?
I think it's fair, balanced. It's what should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I sent it out to some people, but there was a really funny they used AI to tweak one of the executive orders, and it was kind of having to do with this, and it was basically this advisor gives Trump the executive order to sign, and Trump says, well, what's this one? He goes, this is the fuck around and find out executive order. This is for countries that fucked around, and now they're going to find out. And then Trump stops. He goes, listen, this is a good one, everybody. This is a good one.
Send that away. That's hilarious. That's going to be
good.
That's
so
something
good.
we ought to. Yeah, that's something we ought to.
It's so good. So anyway, Trump called this move the big one. So listen, April 2nd the big one's coming. I've never heard the big one being used in a way that wasn't graphic. So he said they have some, describing this is a complete rebalancing of U.S. trade policy across the board to the biggest offenders. Unlike previous tariff actions, the initiative won't just focus on matching foreign tariffs on American goods. It will include factors such as domestic value-added taxes, local content production requirements, regulatory testing mandates that make it more expensive for U.S. companies to be able to sell their products in foreign markets. So there's what we would call the kind of dirty 15, and they have substantial tariffs. Scott said they make up a huge amount of our trading volume. He did not name the 15 nations, but he said it's 15%. It's not actually 15. He goes, I mean, I guess there is a worst 15 in the dirty 15, right? But he emphasized that they would be assigned tariff rates reflecting any and all barriers they oppose on U.S. goods. Scott suggested that some duties might not go into effect immediately. Some of the tariffs may not have to go on because a deal is pre-negotiated. So some of them will be like, we were going to do this, but now we're not because you guys came to the table. I guarantee you they are paying that whatever color phone is the tariff hotline, they probably have 75 operators. Hold on, Mexico. No, Canada line 2. Okay. So let's see. This should be pretty interesting. So we'll see. Some countries, after receiving their reciprocal tariff number, would want to come in and negotiate it down. Yeah, I think so. And Trump, the administration has said there will be no carve-outs. There will be no exemptions. He even said no exemptions twice. There'll be no exemptions or any country. I wouldn't expect any carve-outs. Reciprocal means reciprocal. If you're doing it to us, we're going to do it to you. So stop doing it to us. That's a quote. Ooh. This is the fuck around and find out attack. So here we are. Anyway, this is April 2nd. This is what's coming. Reciprocal tariffs, April 2nd. Coming soon to a theater near you. He said, it will be a liberating day for our country. Yeah, it's going to be something. So how do you think, now that we all kind of know what's going on, and before we go behind the wall, Brandon, what do you think the next couple weeks look like based on this and everything else you see in the recession that we're also in, by the way?
Well, yeah, it's going to be rough. I mean, here's the thing. Besides our one guy who predicted 100K by the end of March, there's not a lot of people.
That guy, he didn't make any bets based on that, right?
He tried to. Nobody would take him up on it.
Why? I would have taken that money. That's stolen money.
Well, yeah, so he's the only guy. Everybody else thinks we're hitting 70K. We're going to go back to 70K. That's what they're all waiting for. That's all.
Didn't he put on a trade with the thought process of that we're getting to 100?
Oh yeah. He put a bunch of trades.
Yeah,
he put a bunch of 22 million. So yeah, he put some money on. He's 22 million net positive on Bitcoin going up right now.
Right, but I mean, even since he made that bet, Bitcoin's down.
I don't think so. He put the bet on.
Wasn't it at 84, 85?
Yeah, it was 80. It was 83 when he put that on. We're at 84, 394. I mean, so we're up a little bit, not much.
Oh, he's gonna get. He's gonna get.
Well, but he used MicroStrategy. What's MicroStrategy?
Oh,
he used
MicroStrategy. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up 5% today. So I mean, today, but yesterday he was down. So
do you want to talk about the preferred first in line special bestest offering ever bullshit that Sailor's doing now?
Yeah, let's talk about that because dude, well, I posted this in the DPC, and then once I posted it, other people said the same thing. They're like, all right, so this is just a new meme coin launch every week for you to raise funding to go. And what he does, he takes if you guys didn't see this is what was it called? It was oh my gosh, there's a stupid name. Strife. STRF. is the new symbol. It's a preferred. Yeah, it's a preferred bond convertible note that gets you 10%, and it's not convertible to stock. So I guess it's not convertible. It's a 10% bond. So basically, it yields you 10% per year, which I don't know how he pays that out, but it yields you 10% per year.
He can't.
I know. And then people are starting to like, I don't know, buddy. Anyway,
all you can guarantee is government debt numbers. All you can guarantee is whatever government bond, and there's no debasement. I mean, sorry, there's debasement risk. That they say that government debt has no actual risk. That's not true. There is technically default risk. Yes, the government has never defaulted. They can pay you in funny money. There's debasement risk. But that's the only riskless market that exists on the earth. That is government debt market. And it's only because they can pay you back in their funny money currency. It's the same reason like staking works. Like they can pay you in staking if the rewards are their funny money token. They can pay you for until they run out of token.
But he can't pay in Strife.
MicroStrategy can't.
Yeah, he has to pay in USD.
He has to pay you in USD.
Right. I don't know if you guys remember what USD is. It's an old regime of money that people get paid in. Anyway, so he has to pay in USD, so he has to make USD somehow. So basically he's robbing Peter to pay Paul because he's not selling his Bitcoin. That's legitimate.
No.
But he's of these, like, let's just say he raises 21 billion. What he does is he goes buys 17 billion worth of Bitcoin and he holds on to 4 billion to pay. I think that's the only way he can do it.
He can only be using new money to pay old money. I mean, I don't know how. Yeah. I really don't know how he can do it. I don't know how.
Well, that's the only way. How is he not
arrested? How is this
robbing Peter to pay Paul? That's the only system that's working, which is basically by definition a Ponzi scheme, right?
This is a Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi scheme. So
strategy is a Ponzi scheme.
So biggest concern in Bitcoin right now, that's it. Everything else is solid win, but Saylor is our biggest concern.
Well,
I don't know how he gets out of this, but
so he's hoping to be pushed into the S&P, right?
That's by the end of, but he needs to get like 89,000 or something by the end of the month, Bitcoin.
And then if he does that, he has the tax burden that he's going to have to deal with because of the new accounting system, which he wanted, which he petitioned for.
Right.
So where's that money coming from? Is he going to do another offering?
Well, that's the IOU.
EAX?
Well, that's not entirely true. He could potentially, and this is why he's hoping, and he may know some things. That would be one of those net neutral policies if he could pay his tax in Bitcoin.
But it's still, but that's not net neutral for the MicroStrategy stock owners.
But it is net. Well, he doesn't have to come up with cash.
But the people that own MicroStrategy still lose money.
Yeah, it would lower their Bitcoin yield for that quarter.
God, it's so shitty. This guy is such a scumbag.
It would lower.
People buy his bullshit is mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's interesting. So when you say what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, I don't know. I don't know. Like, this is, you can't ask anybody that right now. Like, we're in a, I think, kind of crazy time. What I can tell you is what's happening. Well, actually, go.
I would have thought markets would have been better right now because it's kind of a pro-Bitcoin climate. We've been wrong about that because of many factors: leverage, unwind, macro environment, all of it. So because I think the market's going to be terrible, it probably will go up.
Well, I don't know why. Yeah, it's like you said before. Why is Bitcoin not 175 grand? I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
There's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about, and you won't ever know about. So that's why. And so all we can do is trade what we know.
Well, okay. Saylor won't declare bankruptcy. That's not an issue for strategy. What they would have to do is they'll raise more money, and the way they'll raise more money is going to the people that already gave him money and say, "Come on, man, if you don't do this, we're screwed." So they're stuck. Everybody that's given him $1 is stuck They'd have to come give him more money. Then
the only one that I don't understand is this last one, Strife, because it's not convertible to MicroStrategy stock. So it's just a 10% bond. So there must be some language in there that says if XYZ, you don't get your 10%. And that's it. So really, MicroStrategy is not going to declare bankruptcy because they have essentially no debt.
Oh, no. They have debt. Their debt is to all the people that fed into. Remember, he's got layers and layers and layers of these notes. He owes them.
Well, no, he doesn't owe them. He owes them stock.
No. Some of these were done like that, but some of these are convertible notes. The zero coupon bond thing was for some of them. They're not all structured this way. He's got layers and layers of weird Ponzi-nomic, Bernie Madoff bullshitty debt that he's structured in different ways. That's why when he asks for money, he says some of it for corporate purposes. He doesn't ever specify, it's going to be used. It's going to be used to buy Bitcoin and other corporate purposes. That other corporate purposes is paying off old people to not sue the fucking shit out of him.
Yeah, I don't know. Regardless, I did want to bring up again because I know that we haven't brought this up in a while, but I feel I don't want to tell the specific story because it's not great. But here's what I want to say. It's been a rough week. I tried helping some. Anyway, here's the thing. Homework for the day, again, and we've talked about this before, and this is sucky that I have to say this again, but homework for the day, go watch Beekeeper again, okay? There are people that are going to try to take your stuff in whatever way they can, and it's not just through crypto, right? It's not just through them trying to ask for your keys. It could be more subtle than that. For example, if somebody calls you, a very specific example, if somebody calls you saying somebody's trying to break into your email account, and saying they're from Google, they're probably not from Google. And it's not an inside job, it's an outside job, trust me. But they're not from Google and they will steal your stuff. So if they get access to your Google account, they'll probably have your Google Authenticator keys. And just hypothetically, with those keys, if they have access to your device and those Authenticator keys, they can log in your Kraken and take 100% of your stuff.
Ugh.
Just hypothetically.
Yeah. And by hypothetically, you mean this obviously happened to somebody that we know.
And unfortunately, I want to say this too. I do feel it's important to mention again, do not have 100% of your retirement and your net worth in crypto.
Yeah.
I just, as solemnly as I can say that, please remember, there should be nobody here that has 100% of their net worth in crypto, which, I mean, crypto is the most dangerous.
Not only that, Brandon, but I would caveat that with don't have 100% of your net worth in anything, and whatever crypto you do have, don't have 100% of it in one place.
Yeah. I mean,
always function as if you're a serial killer that's on the verge of being indicted, and you're gonna have to go to some non-extradition country. Yeah,
I think I've told you. And I'll tell you guys this, since I don't know, just be careful, guys. This sucks, but be careful. Just remember again, if somebody here's what I told this person too. I don't answer my phone ever unless I know who's calling. If somebody calls me, I assume they're a scammer, 100%. If somebody says they're hacking into my email, you know what I do? I go check my email the way I normally do, see if I have any red flags. If there's no red flags, fine. Same thing if somebody says they're from Coinbase. I don't answer it. I don't give them any information. I go into Coinbase. And the way I normally do, I log on. Coinbase will have red flags everywhere if something legitimately is happening. Okay? So you just log into your things the way you normally do. Never give anybody on the phone any information. I don't care if they say they're the IRS, the government, whatever it is. Make them come to your house. Do not give them any information anymore. Do not text them back. Do not call them. Unless you're face to face with that person and you know who they are, screw it. But listen, oh my gosh, guys, just be careful. This happens once every 2 weeks that I talk to somebody and it hurts my heart. This sucks, guys. And this is, I know you noticed this person's not in the chat right now. So.
You know what my standard text response is when I get one of these? Oh, you're Coinbase this, you're Coinbase. It's 2 words.
F you.
And it rhymes with fuck you. It rhymes 100%.
Oh, 100%. So it is. We nailed it. We nailed it.
Yeah.
Beekeeper was an eye
And
opener.
not
Yes.
surprisingly, they don't message back.
That's weird.
Or the guys from the Indian call center that say that they're from Microsoft. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Depeche?
Yeah. I mean,
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I don't even pull these things up anymore. I get so many. It's just so like, just ignore them.
Anyway, be very careful. Okay,
Yes.
let's go behind the wall, and then behind the wall.
Last thing, because a lot of people are renewing. I think we're still going to do, if you do 5 NFTs, that renews for the year, right?
Yep.
We'll still let you do that, or just reach out to me if you want to do it another way. But I just wanted to mention that 5 NFTs you can renew for the year.
And
anyway, go ahead.
Remember that a bigger, more vibrant secondary market for nodes is going to launch as Hypercycle goes into their kind of next phases of making nodes better and more robust. So people are going to be less likely to break the nodes apart and more likely to sell them as a big unit.
Well, yeah, let's do a Hypercycle update on Friday, and I'll talk about that a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So,
okay, let's go behind the wall, and then let's talk about. I'm going to answer Dr. Cutler's question about IBIT and how you want to play that. And yes, we're going to be doing a lot more on the options. Someone had emailed me and said, "Is that going to be like a separate service?" I was like, "No, we're not. We're not Money Morning dead. It's not like a separate thing. It'll be part of the behind the wall content. Probably on Mondays and Fridays behind the wall, we will focus on what the options market looks like, and if you should be getting out, getting in, and where we would be selling, because I will be, where we would be selling covered calls and cash secured puts."
Nice.
Bam. Okay. So yeah, man.
Nice.
All right. I guess we gotta. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and here.
Going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now.
Bam! All right. Just to answer that question for Dr. Cutler, let me see if I can find it. IBIT. Okay, so what I would be doing is I would be selling way out of the money. The last, as far out as you can, especially because things are wacky right now. Your entry price matters. So my general rule is I'm either selling 10 to 15%, ideally 15, outside my entry price. No matter where the market is, you're like, okay, but what if it's down at 70K? Then go out as far as you can. It's unlikely that Bitcoin would go up or down by 30,000 in a week. Okay. You may look at the 1 week, you may look at 10 days out, something like that. But essentially I would be going a couple weeks out. I want to be turning these things over once a month or twice a month. So 2 weeks to a month out, that's going to get you some bigger premiums. Obviously, if you're closer in each week, you're a little bit closer to the price action. You can generate a little bit more yield selling weekly, but it's more intense. You got to be doing more stuff. So I would be selling 10 to 15% out of the money far enough away that it's just unlikely you would get put in. Now, where we're at right now, where I think is the lower range of Bitcoin, I think it could go down into the 70s, which is fine. So I would be selling my cash secured puts in and around 70K. I would be very okay with being put into Bitcoin at 70K. So that's how I would do it. So anyway, that would be my advice to you. I don't know what your entry price is for IBIT and therefore the conversion. And that's something Brandon and I will start familiarizing ourselves more with the conversion. But I think it was like 1,750 or 1,760 IBIT shares per Bitcoin or something. And it's kind of loose and messy, but that's what we're stuck with because there's no other tools and we can't use Deribit. And Deribit's kind of weird too. Deribit settles shit in Bitcoin. You're like, so if I sell cash secured puts against cash, it's priced in Bitcoin. Yes. So if I sell a call on Bitcoin, I'm collecting Bitcoin. Yes. Which is a little weird because if the price of Bitcoin goes down because your calls expire worthless that you sold, great, you win, but you win Bitcoin that went down in value. But it's kind of weird. So anyway, I'm not a fan of that. It makes trading on Deribit a little bit clunky, but Deribit has really liquid markets because it's pretty much the only place because there's no real options markets in the US. It's a bunch of bullshit. It doesn't look like there's ever going to be, well, ever, anytime soon. Maybe one of the exchanges like Coinbase or something like that will launch it. But until then, the reality is we have to, if you want to sell options, covered calls, and cash secured puts in and around Bitcoin, you got to get your Bitcoin out of Bitcoin and into some trading account, which I'm also not a fan of, but the money's too good to ignore it. Brandon, have you started doing this yet?
Not yet. I got some, I put a little bit in there and I have some IBIT calls. I was going to just sell sorry, I got IBIT and so I was going to start selling some calls. So I barely got calls or IBIT this week. That's it.
So what I'm going to do is to start transferring over. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break up my Bitcoin into like 5 chunks, right? In my mind. And I'm going to say, how much is chunk number 1? So let's say it's $100,000. I'm going to put, before I do anything, I'm going to put $100,000 in cash over there. And I'm going to look, and on a day when trading is flat, and I think most of the trading behavior is out of the market, I'm going to sell Bitcoin, buy IBIT. Like at the same, like with sell Bitcoin, buy IBIT right then. Then I'm going to take that chunk of cash and push it over. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Sell Bitcoin, buy IBIT. And I'm going to do that till all my Bitcoin is in IBIT and I haven't lost anything in the process. So it takes about whatever your total amount of Bitcoin is, you're going to need about 20% of that in cash to do it this way. You can do it slower, but I'm not sure I want to have, 10 transactions to my bank from, sell Bitcoin on Coinbase, transfer it, because you can't go from Coinbase. You can't deposit Bitcoin into IBIT. It would be cool if you could, but you can't. There's no mechanism for that. So you have to sell it, transfer it to your bank, transfer it from your bank to your trading account. That's probably going to be 3 or 4 days at the best, like your best case scenario. So that's the way that I think I will be transferring money over into and doing it. But I'm not going to sit and leave that money. I could be making some pretty good cash by selling these calls on my Bitcoin, like a lot, like so much,
like a lot.
Yeah, like my house payment. I could be making my house payment for free. So, yeah, if those markets exist, it would be pretty dumb to just ignore them. And then I believe that same thing is coming for Ethereum. I just don't know when, but okay. Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts right there. And then we will be focusing on at least twice a week, we will start, having a little segment where we talk about options and, where you guys should be selling. Yeah, I know. I miss Ledger X too. But you know what? Even with Ledger X, we could never get any real volume. You can only get volume when Bitcoin was like 8 to 10K. Once it started going up, that was the end of it. That shit was over. Let's see. How far out would you be selling cash secured puts? 1 month? No. Again, I want to be, if you want to stay, Lawrence, close to the market, if you want to like really feel like you understand the market and the pulse, you want to be selling 1 week out. Only sell a week out. Because in a month, a lot can change in a month. Look at the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, what if we had been at 109 and you're like, okay, I'll sell at 95. You then over the course of the month, you got put at 95 and we're at 80, 84. You're like, vomit. Now you're selling the 100s or the 95s again. So, and by the way, just in your mind, you would say, okay, if I got put in at 95, I got some premium. So I probably got put in at 95 and I made some premium there. So let's say I got put in at 94. Let's say I made 1,000 in premium. So I'm putting in at 94K. We're talking about Bitcoin, not IBIT. IBIT has its own price, but I got put in at 94. So if I'm selling calls 10 to 15% above that price. So I still want to be close to 100 that I'm selling. And you say, okay, well, the price backed off even further. Price backed off. So, but in this case, if you sold a month out, you got put at 94 and the price is 84, there's not going to be much in the hundreds that you can't make much money in the hundreds. So you might bring it in a little bit, but that's not the way to play it. You're definitely playing the long game when you're selling options. But I would say do the weeklies, weekly. And that way the market can't get too far away from you. Okay. In a month, a lot can happen in a month. Now, there's a lot of people that are just like fire and forget it. I see some good premium at 150K. F it. Sell the 150s, put some cash in my pocket. Or sell the 150s, buy more Bitcoin with the cash. Yes, you can do that. I used to have a strategy that was kind of all three. For those of you that saw those videos, I had a long basket. I had a short-term volatility basket. I had something in the middle. So I would basically sell covered calls way with a third of my portfolio way out of the money. Let's say I had 10 Bitcoin, or let's say I had 9 Bitcoin. I would sell 3 Bitcoin worth of covered calls a year out. Fat ass premiums, because there's a lot of time, right? I would take that money, buy more Bitcoin. I would have a neutral, like a middle bucket where I would sell a quarter to a half year out. Take the money, buy more Bitcoin. And then I would have the near term bucket where I would sell 10% out of the money, 15% out of the money a week, the weeklies that I'm churning. Take the money. Now I have a bucket of money that I've created by locking up that 9 Bitcoin. And I now have more Bitcoin, probably about a third more Bitcoin, a quarter to a third. Okay, now guess what I do? I sell the long dated. So I basically take that strategy, but I'm separating it in my mind into 3 sections. My long term for a lot of easy premium, but the market could leave me. I could watch it go away because a year is a long time. Anything can happen in a year. But you're getting a big fat guaranteed premium. And sometimes if the number's big enough, like Brandon, can you pull up any of those options charts on IBIT?
Let me see if I can real quick. No, let me see if I can.
Like if someone was sitting on 10 Bitcoin, that's something tantamount to about 17,500 IBIT. That's 170 contracts. So you could go like 58, 50, 57 and change, 58, 50, something like that. You're pulling in some pretty good cash. So like if you just had 10 Bitcoin, you could just sell, 175 of these calls out at 150K. And you're looking at the price right now, or probably 130K. You're looking at the price right now, you're like, okay, Bitcoin could go to 200 this year, but I'm feeling pretty negative. we're at 80K, 120K. You could probably sell the 120s a year out. And there's probably some pretty good premium to be made there on your 10 Bitcoin, right? Does that make sense? So sometimes people are just like fire and forget. I'll be happy with a 40% return. So if I got called out and I made 40% and I still had, some position in IBIT, but that's if you repurchase. And then ideally where it kind of gets fun is you sell, you sell against let's say you would sell against IBIT, then take the cash and sell cash secured puts on the other side. So that at the same time, you're on the call and put side. Again, as an aggregate seller, not as a buyer. Don't start looking, oh, well, I should buy this one and sell. No. There used to be a platform called Ledger X that you could do this. Otherwise, you had to kind of surreptitiously do it through Deribit. But we can't really do that anymore because Deribit doesn't accept the Palau residency, which is bullcrap.
So which one do you want to look at? You got the.
I want you to go. Okay, so are we a year out right here? Yeah.
So this is March 21. So this is 25. So we would have to go a year away.
25 or 26. Okay.
25. So we'd have to go a year away. Is that where you want to go?
Let's go a year out.
I don't know why you have to click this, but let's go. This is March 26 right here.
Okay. Now
so then
the IBIT is the price is like 17. So you kind of have to like multiply it by 1750, right?
Sure. So IBIT's price. So the 48s is right here. That's where we're at.
So we're at the money at 40. Okay. So let's go 50% out of the money. So let's get into the high 60s.
What the? Let's see.
No, I think you just have to expand your strike range. Yeah.
Yeah, it's letting me go up, but let me see. Oh yeah, here we go. High 60s. So we got to go 65.
Yeah, let's go 65.
So that would be the last trade price is 651 with zero volume.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so let's go down and see where there's any kind of, well, there's a lot of open interest though.
There is some, I think you could probably fill it at 720.
Or even just imagine you're at the low end. You fill it at the low end.
Let's go $7 on the low.
Okay,
The bid's 710. So let's just call it $7.
Which means $7 times, and we're doing the math. Let's do the math on one Bitcoin. So
1752 is the math on one Bitcoin right now.
Yep. So 1752. So 17 of these. So 17 times 7.
So that'd be 119.
And then you
could actually buy 30.
Because these are in hundreds. So it's
right.
So it is 1750 times the 7. So it's about.
Wait, what? No, you can buy 35 calls for one Bitcoin.
30
because
35.
it's 17. Yeah, because you take the 1752 divided by your current price, 36.
Well, remember, these contracts are 100.
Yeah.
So it's 100. So
yeah,
even
so you get 36.
Yeah.
36 calls at 100.
So
you get 36 times 7 times 100. So you net 25 grand is what you do.
So that seems high.
Does it? Not really, because you're a year out. If Bitcoin goes,
think about that. That's right at 25, 26, 27% on one Bitcoin.
So it's 25 grand divided by. I'll tell you what it is. It's
so think about this though.
Right now,
you're sitting on 10 Bitcoin. You're sitting on 10 Bitcoin.
That's 29% guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Not guaranteed.
Like, you're sitting on 10 Bitcoin. You're like, well, that's a pretty good year's salary in any business.
That's 29%. That's pretty good.
And it's a lock. And so it's kind of like, okay, well then why would I want dead money? So let's look at the other side. Let's look at the put side. You're selling cash against it, cash secured puts. So let's go now. We got to go back down to the 40s. We got to go underneath it. I mean,
we would need to do the math better, but just to make sure we're exactly out.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're just, this is loose and we're just spitballing. We'll get tighter with this, but let's go 10% under the money.
Well, you'd go 41. So you go 42. Is that 10%? No, that's like 15%.
But basically, it's almost the same deal.
Yeah.
You're pocketing that in cash. So at that point, you're getting that 20 to, let's say, 23 to 28% locked.
Yeah. That protects your Bitcoin down to 73,624.
Well, and that's cash. So basically, what you're doing is you're saying, against my dormant cash, I'm going to sell this. And if Bitcoin does shit the bed, I get paid. And if it doesn't, my cash earns me about 25, 26%.
Yep.
With a cushion. That's pretty good. And now what a lot of times people do is they say, well, I'd be willing to buy Bitcoin at this price. Great. Then you take the cash and you sell an at the money put. At the money, or right now, would be $10. Right? But that'd be for a year out. So but then you're making a third more. I mean, now we're in the 30 to 35% range. It's pretty good, man. Now that's for selling a year out. Okay, now Brandon, I want you to go to the current ones, like 1 week out.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, John's right. 17. Okay. Yeah. What's that? Go 1 week out?
Yeah.
I had 2 Bitcoin in my model here, John. That's why. Anyway, go ahead. 1 week out is March 28th.
Yeah.
So right now we're 48.20 on IBIT. So 10%. What would you 10%?
I would go 10 to 15% out. Yeah.
So that would be selling calls.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go 52. That gets you 39 cents.
But 39 cents times 7 times 100 times 1750, right? Or yeah.
Times 17. Yeah. So $663
per Bitcoin. That's a week out.
Per Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So, but if it, yeah. So
well,
there you go.
It's about 10 days. But anyway, but that just gives you kind of a loose idea. So yeah, you're getting each 100 is 1.
Yeah. So you get $600, $660 or whatever. And then Bitcoin, so you wouldn't even be called out unless Bitcoin moved more than 10%. So Bitcoin would have to be, what's 85 times?
Well, plus 8,500, right? So
93.5.
93 something, yeah.
Yeah, so 93. So Bitcoin has to go past 93 for you to be called out. So you make about, $663 divided by 85. So you make almost 1% in 10 days, 0.007%.
Yeah.
So in a month, if you did that every week, let's just assume you get 3% a month. Annualize that plus compounding, but you don't compound it right now.
You're somewhere between
30%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30%.
And those are the kind of numbers that you can, again, it's a grind. You're not going to get rich, but it's a pretty consistent grindy cash generation strategy. I did it for, years and 2 years. And it worked really good. And I did it with all my clients and we grinded out some good money. So it's just money that, it's easy money. And if you don't want to mess with all this, cool, go sell a year out and catalog.
If Bitcoin holds solid, this is the best strategy ever. If Bitcoin never makes big 20% moves, this is solid.
Yeah. And invariably, you're going to get called out. And that's why you structure these things kind of all over the place. But you're less likely to get called out if you're playing the weeklies because you have a better pulse on the market. A lot can change in a year. A lot. And so you just have to kind of have that in your mind. So we'll talk more about this. We will start familiarizing yourself, but now I'm gonna start the process of getting rid of moving Bitcoin over into IBIT.
Heyo.
I just got to wait till I get through what my tax burden is going to be.
Fun.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Come on, Trump.
Always
What about
fun.
executive order making 0 capital gains? Come on, man. Anyway,
I don't
that's where
know.
we're at. Well, just because Bitcoin goes up or down doesn't, yeah, of course, Andy, it doesn't go down at the same rate because people are trading the IBIT shares against, and there's times when Bitcoin doesn't do anything but IBIT goes down because people are exiting. I think there's going to be quite a bit of that going into tax season. I think people are going to be selling to cover some tax burden. And there's also going to be some panic selling. There's probably going to be some selling today. This is probably going to be a net outflow day, you would imagine. Okay, so like the price today is up 3%. What Bitcoin up or down?
Bitcoin up or down. Well, hold on. So if you get called out, it's automatic. It's like a smart contract. You have to have your IBIT there before you can sell a call against it. And so they just take the IBIT that you had. And you can't sell more calls than the IBIT you have unless you have like a bigger margin account. Then you can sell extra calls.
Yeah.
But you have to have cash secured in some way.
Don't do margin.
So then those are naked calls. And so then if you have naked calls, they'll come get your cash that's in your account to buy IBIT to be able to send the IBIT to that person. So anyway, so Bitcoin is up 2.19%.
Okay. On mine, I've got it up 3.8, but that's Livecoin. That's
a rolling 24.
Yeah.
So this is market open to market close on this one and on TradingView.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah.
So okay, so yeah, so yes, it doesn't track directly. It's never tracked directly. This is why I didn't want to do this in the first place, but I'm not just going to sit there and let this money sit on the sidelines. If there's free money to be made, I'm going to make that money. So, yeah, I'm gonna start moving it over and do the IBIT thing. I gotta get my E-Trade, my crappy E-Trade account all brushed up again.
What a pain! What a pain!
I wish there were other ways to do this, but there are not. Yeah, there just are not. All right.
Here we sit.
Last thing, did you see Zappo? Now they're getting into loans using Bitcoin as collateral.
Now that's what we want. That's better for me.
Yeah.
I want a loan. I want to loan my Bitcoin out and get paid yield.
Well, no. You're borrowing against your Bitcoin. Bitcoin collateralizes your loan to yourself.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So I can go buy a house.
Say you wanted to buy a rental property. You put up $1 million worth of Bitcoin. You get. I mean, I don't know what rental property would be less than $1 million. I don't know where you live, but that wouldn't even get you a shanty around here. But yeah, you can buy. They say up to $1 million. Although I don't know why. It should just be based on how much Bitcoin you have. You should be able to
right. Why does it matter? I guess they're trying to mitigate the risk to one individual to only $1 million because they figure
if you have 10 individuals at $1 million, that's 10 million, or one individual at 10 million. I don't know.
Yeah, but they figure, what if that one individual is bad? But out of 10 individuals, they figure they'll have 2 bad and 8 good. That way, the risk is mitigated. That's the way they figure it.
Let's see. How much can you sell if you only have 10 Bitcoin? 10 Bitcoin's good. No, a call option is not for 100 Bitcoin, Mary.
Oh yeah, so you got to convert your Bitcoin.
It's for 100 shares of iShares at $48, and that's why there's a conversion rate, because it's to figure out what it would be. You have to convert iShares back to Bitcoin to get a loose approximation, and it's about 1,750-ish.
So the minimum that you need to have to convert over, hold on,
be like $4,820 worth of IBIT.
48 times 100. So for 4,800 divided by 85,000, you need 0.056 Bitcoin as a minimum to start this strategy, almost, right? You have to buy 100 IBIT shares as a minimum.
Yeah. So that's a contract. A contract is 100 IBIT shares, not 100 Bitcoin. Dear God, you must have thought everybody was a baller.
We all ballers.
Yeah. If you have 10 Bitcoin, you're in that scenario where you're selling tons of contracts. because you're selling 17,500. You're sitting on 17,500 IBIT shares. You're selling against that. So you're selling 175 contracts at a time. Yes, you got it. All right. Oosh. Let's call it a day. And yeah, Brandon, any final thoughts?
That's it. ETH, something to watch. Something to watch.
Oh, yeah, I'm unstaking. Yep, today I'm going to unstake GMRT to get ready for next month.
Nice.
All right.
I have to check that pool.
Bam. All right, let's call it a day.
Sweet. Sounds
Stay
good.
in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my porn solved drunk selling meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do. And what's the oh, you got blue skies down there, right, Brandon?
Blue skies, but cold. It's 26 degrees, but it's cold. But hey, the sky's blue.
74 degrees for us today.
You're gonna put on a jacket.
Yeah, could get chilly.